Hello and welcome. You're listening to This is the Couples Table. My name is Tom. I don't remember.
Start that. Okay, ready, set, go.
I don't remember how I started.
No, just if you.
Hello, my name is Tom,
and I'm Heather.
And you're watching the Couples Table.
The Couples Table is a live stream podcast here on this channel. Join us for better or worse,
for richer or poorer,
in sickness and in health,
even if we forget the intro.
Or a little bit tired.
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't remember. Do I say hello and welcome? What do I say?
I don't know.
Hi, my name is Tom, and I'm Heather.
Why are you? Tom woke up early to go ice skating.
Yeah,
that's what I think it is.
I'm very tired. Yes, for many of the reasons.
I'm just tired because I'm always tired. But anyway, so we are early.
We're a little early. We're sitting here, and there was so much time left. We decided to just push the button
to go live
and go early.
Yeah, we're not going to jump into our planned agenda until 1:00.
Sure.
For now, we're just gonna we're gonna do a little pre-show here.
Well, I got I don't know, I got a little bit of show and tell.
Yeah. Kyle McKenna's here.
Hey!
First, Pete Breen is also here.
Thanks for hanging out on everything, Kyle.
Yeah, we're gonna hang out for 5 minutes and then we'll jump into it. Shotgun Studio is also here. Hello.
Sweet.
So you have some show and tell.
I do. Yesterday, was that yesterday? Yeah, I think it was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Time is hard.
It was yesterday.
I was working on a video and I live streamed it to channel members. It was the first official thing I did using the YOLO Box Ultra, which was ultra fun. I've used YOLO boxes before, but I hadn't used this one, which is significantly more powerful and has a lot of like different 4K capabilities. Not that I was streaming in 4K, but it worked great. Popping the comments up. It was really nice because I was filming a video and then like checking in with people, and it was nice to, I don't know, like my whole streaming setup was just here. I didn't have to.
Would you ever consider doing a public?
Yes, so I'm actually thinking of doing one tomorrow.
Oh, great.
Depends on how I feel though, but yeah, just a YOLO box only stream. I was running the Rodecaster into just the 3.5 millimeter, but I want to figure out the USB version for the Rodecaster so I can get that more clear. But it's cool because this one can do up to 4 cameras, 4 inputs, 4 HDMI inputs, which is a lot. I only did 2 yesterday, but I forget how fun and nice it is. So that was a fun thing.
That's great. Audio Hotline is here. Hey. Kyle says, happy to be here. Tom, you made an appearance on my wife and I's podcast. I need to send that to you.
Yes, 100% send that for sure.
Oh, that's great.
And speaking of for sure, I sure have a new microphone that's not from Shure. I talked about this in my video, but Rode...
This was the one?
Yeah, Rode sent the Interview Pro, which is their new mic. So I've been playing around with it and using it. Want to use it more before making a video about it. I quite like it a lot. I did another like members only thing about this if people had questions. As of today, I've noticed 1 or 2 videos popping out, but a lot of them are there's not a lot of info, like real world info about the mic yet. So I was wondering if people had any questions about it.
Oh wow, look at that.
It's pretty nifty. It's based, it's a new capsule, they said. It's based on the design, though, of some wireless mics Rode has had out for a while, so it even fits in some existing docks and things. And one thing about it is in here, inside the windscreen, there's a lot of foam. So I haven't done like a plosive test with it, but it comes with a windscreen. But honestly, there's so much foam in here, you shouldn't really need to use it because I think the windscreen also makes it look a little funky. Got built-in recording, so it can just be its own recorder, which is pretty cool. Like if you don't have anything, it can just. It sounded like something was singing. Yeah, what was that?
I think it's the wind.
Oh, okay.
It's so windy here.
So anyway, that was another thing that I'm super excited about is this mic. The only downside, which I'm waiting, actually sent some questions to Rode to answer, is just about the battery because it has a built-in battery. Which is a bummer because what happens when the battery dies it should last for a while. I would think 4 to 5 years, if not more. But what happens after that? Rode has good warranties, but I'm wondering if there's something you can do to like send this in and get the battery replaced. If there's a way to replace it yourself, if there's something like that, so you don't have to just like, well, whole microphone's totally going in the trash now. It's the only downside I have to that so far, which is kind of a big one, but it's the only one.
Yeah.
That's my show and tell.
That's great. I don't have anything to show or tell about right now. Yeah.
Well, then my next video that I want to record is a studio tour video.
Oh, great.
Because I changed everything and now I feel like I'm kind of used to it. But I want to, studio tour is usually me, like I set up the camera, go to different places, talk about it. But I want to use the wireless SM7B. and then I want to make a video about making that better.
Yes. If you haven't seen Tom's newest video, he put together this microphone contraption that he's quite fond of now.
I like it a lot. It worked really, really well. And Audio Hotline is a big part of that video, so go check that out.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a fun one.
Yeah, it was hard to edit. It's very hard to keep track of that and have it make sense and like.
It was great.
No, I love how it came out, but it was hard because I was filming like 2 videos. So some of the interviews, like, okay, I'm going to ask you questions that I'm going to use in this one video. Now questions for a different video.
That must have been the first time that you've recorded like multiple videos at the same time.
That much, yeah, for sure. And then
because I could tell, I could see you like, okay, this is gonna be for another video.
Yeah. Well, you're like, oh, you don't need to tell. And I was like, no, but I need that on camera for me. I need to tell myself when I'm watching it back, like what this is for.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we were, for the mic tests, because it's one thing to say like, here's a microphone, try it out, but you kind of need to have something to talk about rather than just like A, B, C. So that's why we're doing like questions and, like what's the first album you bought or what, what's the most famous movie quote of all time. And the way that those played out, they do kind of go in order. Like,
right.
We start out asking one type of question, then go to another one. And then at a certain point we give away the answer. So the sections have to go in order, but there is also an order, which I didn't think about, that the microphones make more sense to go in, and it didn't always match up. So like trying to keep track of the order of the mics and the order of like what's happening in the questions so they're not jumping around and everything makes sense.
Yeah.
Was really hard.
I think what you did very well, and clearly people agreed with me in the comments, is that I think you really kind of brought the experience that we had. Like you were able to share that through your videos, which is like super cool. I think that's like rare because I mean, even you said what it ends up being is just like creators just being in other creators' streams or videos, which is, we did that too, but I don't know. You managed to somehow capture the fun of it all.
Yeah, it's hard because I've seen stuff from past NABs where that is sort of what it is. It's like, look, I'm here with Heather. And it's like, okay.
And Heather's here with Tom.
Yeah, and it's like, that's neat, but unless you're like really into both of those people or you were at that event, there's not a lot of relevance. And so trying to have sort of a purpose, like, yeah, which that for that video, like literally my initial idea before I went to NAB was that I would just be walking around with different microphones and you might film me. And then it was like, oh, obviously we should be in it together. And we're hanging out with Bronson so much. from Audio Hotline that like, oh, someone could film it. Oh, but why? Then we can switch out the three of us, and then we met more people. It's like, it makes more sense to have more voices on the mics, to use them in different ways. And then I thought of the video that you helped me with last summer, where we did the 25 mic tests, and you were the one who, I was gonna have you just read like a goofy script, but you were the one who was like, oh, we should do like 90s trivia, which made the video, even if you don't care about microphones, it made the video fun because it's just like an engaging topic. So I was like, oh, we should use these to talk about other things, because that's what you do with them in real life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Peter Piper pitched a podcast is like not.
It only gets you so far.
Yeah. All right. Studio tour. Yes. I'll send it to you via Instagram unless there's a better way.
IG works.
Yeah.
You can email it if you want. Tom at HiMyNameIsTom.com.
I figured that would be a tough video to put together, but it turned out great.
It's a bit of a beast.
And Gil is here. Hello.
You know something? Hey, Gil. You know something that has been helpful, though, in both of those NAB videos?
Yeah.
So in this one, this is just sort of like, maybe this would help you make videos. In this one, I cut all the interviews down and like put them there, and then I sort of put blank video in between them where I needed to record something. And then all I did was, when I was recording, I just had my laptop over here and I was scrolling through Final Cut and being like, oh yeah, okay, I need something
In
between
this
this clip
part.
and this clip.
Yeah.
Talk about it. And when I did the other NAB video, the recap video, I literally just had the raw footage, and I was just going down, like before I got to the end of the video, but when I was just going down what happened, I was like, oh yeah, the Black Magic booth, I should talk about that. Oh yeah, we saw this thing at this booth, I should talk about that. And I was like just going through my footage in real time and talking about it. And it really helped.
Yeah, it's funny because you're just like describing a vlog.
Am I?
Yeah, because you go through it chronologically, and then it like helps you remember.
Yeah, but I mean, like having it not having notes, not having a script, but literally just going through like the timeline and
that's
the footage.
how I edit my vlogs. Yeah.
But I mean, I was filming at the time.
Yeah.
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 I think we are not on the same page.
I think we are.
Okay.
I don't know. I thought we were. I mean, you added context.
Yeah.
As you're editing. Yeah, that's different. But you know, it's like I'll remember, you know, I don't know, social media marketing world. I dump all my footage and then I just go through each and kind of like remember what I did, and I need to talk about that, and this happened, and you know.
So while you're filming your talking head part of it.
Yeah,
okay.
You find it in the edit.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's what I do. I don't know if that's what you were talking about.
I just hadn't done it that way before.
Yeah, no, that's why it's interesting.
Yeah, it made it a lot easier too.
It's like, that's how I do it, but it's interesting seeing you try a different
I didn't know how else to even
format.
make it manageable, so it was hard.
But it was so fun. Both of them were great.
Thanks. That is all of them, so there's no more NAB
Michael
videos.
is here. Hello. All right, so it's officially 1:05, so now we can kick off what we were going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what we titled this video, the state of the creator economy. ... How do we want to get into this?
Well, we talked last week, right, about the talk we went to at NAB, the state of the creator economy.
So I think like I put out a video this week, which I got a lot of feedback on, which is great. It's just been really interesting hearing people's reactions to what I had to say, and it was inspired by a talk that we went to at NAB called "The State of the Creator Economy," and it's like the state of the union, the state of the city, the state of the whatever. It's just talking about the current landscape of whatever thing. So my expectation for that talk was going to be like, we are content creators. Tell me about the space that we work in. And it was an interesting talk.
Should have been called the state of confusion. That's what
it was just a different talk. So since I put that video out, I've done a lot of research, watched a lot of videos, talked to a lot of people. And I think that talk should have just had a little dash next to it that said like, you're talking about this part of the creator economy, and then we wouldn't have gone, and then it wouldn't have been irrelevant, because it was obviously relevant to some people, right? So what I wanted to do here for the couples table is kind of kick off what we think from our perspective is the state of the economy, or the creator economy in 2024. I have a bunch of like what I think is relevant. I'm very curious what you think, though.
As it pertains to certain types of creators or in general?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. So this was the number one, like even more so than the creator economy at NAB, was AI. We've talked about AI a couple times.
Right.
What's your take? This is definitely like disruption status
yes.
for the creator economy, right?
This was like one of the points that I actually liked at the talk. Was one of the speakers said that obviously there's nothing you can do about it. It's going to be a big part of it. It can be a tool. It can also be a thing that you compete with. But at the end of the day, people want... There's just a thing that an AI can't create that you need to be a person who lived a life to do. And he was saying that like human made will be the same moniker as handmade in terms of quality. When if you go buy a table and it's a handmade table, you almost expect to spend more money for it and that it's going to be of a higher quality than, the like just made in a factory by the bajillions, even though there's really nothing wrong with like, I think the desk we're sitting at, they have multiple made in a factory and it's fine, but handmade sort of denotes something a little more special, even though it's not, even though there's other options now. And it's sort of similar. And I thought that was interesting and I like that and I agreed with that.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm just checking in with the comments. Michael says Patreon stream, and this gives great insight to both of your processes. Privy My is here. Hey. Andre's here. Hey, everyone. Head down in editing. Just noticed it was 22:06, so swoosh. Mike is here. Hello. Watching as I
patch
purchasing
my tire from a nail.
Don't want to miss out on a proper Friday at the couple stable.
Hope you get your tire taken care of. It's so frustrating.
Michael says Heather's economy video was informative. Saw part of the talk you highlighted. It was bad.
Oh wait, were we in the same talk together?
Oh,
then?
seriously? Also, oh my god, I would love to know what you thought.
I don't. That's such a bummer if we were like literally standing there at the same time.
I wish we had like bumped into each other. All right, Call Me Cubby is here and Rio Pell Room is here. Okay, so continuing off the AI, I have 2 points. And obviously, those of you in the chat want to join in, feel free to contribute to the discussion that is the state of the creator economy. For AI, though, I do think it's going to help creators make content more efficiently, right? Like, we're already seeing that. You use it, I use it. I think a lot of people, I would say most creators, use some kind of AI tool, even though they might not realize it, right? Like you might not realize that removing the background on a photo is AI because it's not, make this into a YouTube script into Chat GPT. That is like, everyone knows that that's AI. So I think workflows are going to level up. The thing that I'm a little bit worried about is that I think because it's going to be easier and more like creating content will be more efficient, I feel like it is going to kind of saturate everything with a lot more content because right now it's already loud, so I feel like it's going to get louder.
You got recommended a video yesterday. Remember the one you showed me? Heather got a video that had 10 views in 2 days from a really small channel.
I did take a screenshot.
Oh yeah, you did. So it was like an AI thumbnail, AI profile picture. The video itself had to be AI generated or created, and no one was watching it, but it was kind of like, is this just a channel that can dump out multiple videos a day, like totally automated, or at least like generate video files that then some person can just randomly upload, and it's like, it's a lot.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna show the photo. I trashed it.
The title was very strange too. I remember it's like keyword stuffed because the thumbnail says grow viewers on YouTube, and it has a very strange photo of like people at a festival, but like it's that AI thing where when you look at it a little closer, it doesn't make sense, like where arms are coming from and things.
Yeah, well, so it's a long title, but part of it says secrets to skyrocket your YouTube subscribers, and there's 10 views on it from 2 days ago. So it's like, well, you obviously haven't skyrocketed your own channel.
But it's also like, I mean, the thumbnail says grow viewers on YouTube. The title is grow subscribers on YouTube. Secrets to skyrocket your YouTube subscribers. Like, that's keyword stuffing a title, which I don't know if a person did that or if an AI just did that.
I didn't want to click on the channel because then I don't want to have it like
get more of those
in my feed. But so on YouTube right now, you can check the box that says that my content has not been altered by AI, like at all. There's no generative AI. There's no, there's no AI as part of the content, right? That's what the box says.
It's I forget what it is. It's not that you can't use AI in it, because like if you used AI to like get rid of your background or something,
right?
That doesn't matter. But it's making things look not how they actually occurred.
I am curious if YouTube doesn't do anything with that, because right now there's only one feed, right? But I don't know. Is there going to be a separate feed that includes that stuff? Well, I feel like then who the hell would watch that feed?
Right. If there's like a human feed or an AI feed, if you can
no
choose
one's
a filter thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why also I think people are going to get more adept at using AI to try and make it seem like they're not using AI. And at a certain point, it's that thing where, like, I remember in high school, there were some kids who would go to such great lengths to cheat on tests and stuff that, like, it would have been less work to just study and pass the test. And I wonder if it's going to be that thing, like your AI workflow to create something with AI that looks like it's human made is like so much more work than just making something as a person. But I do think there will be people who can get to a point where they can, like, literally, it's not just like they couldn't have a channel that uploads 10 videos a day, because that would be like a sign that it's AI, so that they can generate as much as they want and then have to like parse it out or whatever, and everything is just self-sustaining. I have no idea if those would take off or if they would do well or anything like that.
Michael is saying that he went to the other talk about the viral content creators. This must have been the one that Kat went to, the one that was the 5 secrets with Mr. Beast president. I think you're talking about the one that was like how to start a YouTube channel in 2024.
I didn't hear about that one.
Which apparently that one was also not good. Andre says artisanal video is going to be a thing of honor.
Artisanal video.
Yes,
I like that. Yeah.
I agree. DJ Ware is here in the house. Good to see you. Andre says AI still can't make people more comfortable in front of a lens or add personality or all of the other stuff.
Right.
Kyle says, what I find interesting and intriguing about the videos people create on YouTube is the point of view of the creator. Regarding AI, I don't know if it has a point of view of its own, and if it does, I'm not sure how interesting it would be.
And that's the thing you see when you see a lot of AI stuff, is that like it, even if it's makes sense and contextual, it doesn't have a point of view. It's so kind of bland a lot of the time.
I don't know. If we get to the point where it's like,
I mean,
Wall-E,
it'll get better and better.
Like Her, the movie Her. Like if it gets to that point, I feel like that's different than like AI is allowing us to do all this faster.
Well, that's like that is like sentience. Like at what point is it a creature now? I don't know the answer to that one.
Hi, Daniel.
Hey,
good to see you.
Daniel's all over the world.
So that's AI.
Okay.
Move on to the next thing. Influencer fatigue.
Okay.
I feel like that's a real issue regarding the creator economy right now. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the to me as a content creator, it's frustrating because I do think that there are different types of creators, but we all use the same word.
Right.
And I wouldn't call myself an influencer. I think somebody else would, because an influencer equals creator. I do think that there's a difference, though. I'm not really 100% sure what that difference is. But either way, there is this like overall fatigue that I don't even think is really influence. I think there's a few bad apples that really, really ruined it. But also I think that some of the fatigue is just social media fatigue in general, or like content fatigue in general.
I think it's a little of both. There's a channel we both found this past week called Creating with Kaya.
Yeah.
Kaya. She's great. She just hit 10,000 subscribers like today, which is awesome. And she had a video kind of about this, and I think this applies to any niche, because obviously you kind of know what you know, but she was using the beauty niche as an example, which I know nothing about, but the things she was talking about seemed to be relevant in the camera, photo, video niche as well. And she was like, okay, like the beauty YouTubers of 2016, they would, if they're talking about makeup, she had a picture of someone putting like swatches over, like multiple swatches on their arm, like holding out different light. They would go out and buy every kind of this one makeup, see which one worked the best. They would wear everything for 24 hours and do like a 24-hour wear test and everything. And then it sort of shifted to where it became, here I'm telling you about this one thing that I'm being paid, whether or not I'm disclosing it, I'm being paid to talk to you about. And I'm just going to tell you how great it is. And that's it. And next week, I'm going to tell you about the next thing that I've been told to tell how great. And that is soulless and fatiguing. Not because it's bad to be sponsored, not because it's bad to share things you're excited about, but because chances are that person wouldn't be talking about that thing on their own. They're talking about the thing because the company approached them to talk about that thing.
That's the difference.
And you see that, like I can see in channels I used to watch a lot that I no longer watch a lot, and I go look at their videos and I realize I kind of dropped off when every video became product placement. And it's not even that I don't want to know about a new thing, because if I'm really interested in it, I want to check it out. But it's when I get that feeling that the person's not even, they definitely wouldn't be making the video if there weren't a paycheck involved.
Yeah. And I don't know.
It's not interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's, I don't know. It's a tough one. I don't know,
In a way, it kind of goes to the same thing as AI, where I think the antidote to that. So, okay, when you do flight training, when you learn to get your drone license or you do pilot training, they talk about these hazardous attitudes like machoism and, invulnerability and all these things. There's like a hazardous attitude, and then they have what's called the antidote to that. So
okay.
One of them would be like anti-authoritarian, and the antidote is to remind yourself, like, follow the rules, they exist for a reason. All that kind of stuff. Like, if there's invulnerability as a hazardous attitude, the antidote is it could happen to me. And I feel like there's an antidote here, which is the thing to combat influencer fatigue, the thing to combat AI is that buzzword authenticity.
Yeah.
Which is the genuine thing of like, I don't know, like DJI last night released like a battery clip. And of course, it's a cool thing. If you have their little wireless mic, you can clip it into this little adapter, and then it goes onto your camera's accessory shoe, and you don't need a cable to plug into your camera. It's like Sony makes mics that you can just attach to their camera, and there's no cables involved. The camera powers the mic.
Are you laughing because everyone made a huge deal about this?
I wouldn't say everyone. It wasn't their biggest thing, but of course, DJI tends to do our time. They usually release stuff at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and there's a huge thing of like, oh my god, game changer. It's like, bro, it's a microphone accessory clip. It's cool. Like if you use that mic and use a Sony camera, it's very helpful, and I would probably get one if I had it. But it's like come on. It's probably not something that even needs a dedicated video.
I have never been sponsored. I've seen you handle sponsors where you put it on your website. Like nobody should even contact you if they are going to have any input on your creativity.
Right.
You don't even allow that to happen.
Right.
And that's awesome. I think it's a hard decision to make. And I don't blame people for,
I'm not criticizing. I'm not criticizing that. The thing is, when it gets to the point where this sort of like boring accessory comes out and it has to be positioned as like, this changes everything. Like literally that was some of the titles of that. That's very different than somebody going like, oh, hey, check it out. I got the DJI Mic 2 and I found this thing. It's a clip you put on it and then you don't need cables. Totally awesome. That feels genuine and authentic, and it feels like it feels like a friend is recommending something. Like when Peter and I talk, or anyone we talk to at NAB, it's constantly like, oh yeah, look at this, try this lens.
We're doing that all day.
Yeah, we're influencing each other in person all the time. But it's a friend telling me why they use something and why they like it and why it's good. And then I go, oh my gosh, now I understand how I could use that, or why that's not good for me.
Right.
And that's the kind. So it's like you can be an influencer, you can talk about products, you can do all those things, but the thing of like you're just watching commercials over, like people are tired.
Well, I
of
think
that.
the problem really kicked off when influencers started saying yes to things where part of the deal was a script.
Yeah.
Like if the company is telling you what to say, then it's not. It is your voice, but is it your creativity? You know, like
I've done stuff where it's not even sponsored, but a company will send a thing. Like GoPro usually sends a camera every year. I don't know why. I'm not like under anything for them. They've been sending cameras for the past few years, and they'll usually send like a PDF, like here's all the features. And I can always tell when the camera comes out. You can always spot the videos that are just people reading through the PDF. And it's like, that became the script. I don't know if it's a sponsored thing or if that's just, there's like, oh, here you go. But then you know, but 10 videos are the same thing.
right.
It happened recently.
I think that's part of the problem.
It is a problem because, so recently though, I didn't tell you about this, but I talked about it in my most recent podcast episode. Lewitt came out with a microphone.
Yeah.
It's called the Ray. And it's an XLR microphone, but it has these sensors in it that like, they're basically proximity sensors. So right now, if I get away from the microphone, my voice changes and the signal gets lower. If I get closer, it gets louder.
Yes.
This keeps track of you, and then the microphone adjusts the gain so that your level stays the same even as you move around the microphone. When Lewitt explained that, when they were reaching out and like sending emails and stuff, that's new technology that hasn't been in an XLR mic before. And the way they describe it, they're like, it's not super smart or whatever. It's like basic autofocus for your voice is how they described it. I was like, that is a perfect way of explaining this because it's weird technology I don't understand. Call it autofocus. So in my video, I say it's like rudimentary autofocus. Almost every video that came out, at some point, whether it's in the title, thumbnail, of the video itself, says autofocus for your voice. And I know at least for me, Lewitt, like they just say don't put the video out before the thing comes out. After that, we don't care. If you put a video out, when you put a video out, we don't need to see, like, they don't care. They want it to be, if you make a video, it's because you choose to. So it's perfect. It's the exact way to run that. And I feel like that's how they approached everybody else because everybody's videos were different, but everybody said autofocus for your voice. And I got worried that it was going to seem like that. When really, I think it was just, they communicated this new feature the same way to everybody. And it made sense.
It's the same thing as like, how do I get the blurry background?
Yeah.
You know, like you have to explain the thing in normal human terms versus you get into the
and that is the perfect way to do it. But I was worried that in this case, because people are so averse to, there's so much influencer fatigue. There was a situation where it wasn't that. They weren't sending out scripts. They weren't doing things. But it might look like they were
that way. Yeah.
Because of this strange situation. I don't know.
Okay, we have a couple comments on the AI thing. Privy Mai says, I really think AI is great. I have dyslexia, but because of AI, I can fully focus on being creative and not on spelling or learning how to use Photoshop through booklets or whatever. It opens doors for creatives with a few struggles, but not 100% AI. Only max 60%.
Max. I mean, that's awesome. Like we had our first, we started a new hockey team. It's summer season. We had our first game this past week. Yeah. And I put together a little website for the team and stuff. I'd love to have a blog where we talk about stuff. I don't know how to write for sports. I don't know how to summarize things, but there's a website that keeps all the stats of a game. And you can literally just paste that into chat and say, hey, can you create a blog post that makes this information make sense? And it breaks it down and actually gives insight. Like
it did it in freaking 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
And you can change the tone of it. It's all accurate. Like, I don't know how to be a sports writer. I don't want to be a sports writer. And so then I went in and adjusted it, like, added some more context and details. But to get an accurate piece of info in an area that I'm not interested in writing in or capable of writing in, out to the point where like other people on the team can at least send it to their family, or it's just a record of what happened. Like, oh, that's right, that's how that first game was. It was incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
And
otherwise it would not have gotten done.
Yeah, and I would love to do that, sit down and write, do a player interview, write a blog post, whatever. But it's kind of nice after every game with minimal effort.
I can have something.
Take the raw stats, which don't mean much to a lot of people, and turn it into something that makes sense, and then share it real quick.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Ernesto is here. Happy Friday. Andre, what is scary, though, is a website I saw yesterday that summarizes a how-to video into a webpage article that can then show up in Google search and actually steal views and search hits from a video. Yeah, I've seen that.
But that is interesting. Like someone takes your video, embeds it on their website, and then SEOs the heck out of it. So when people search for a thing, it doesn't go to your YouTube channel, it goes to their website.
This is where it gets sad.
I mean,
I get sad, but like the thing that I'm always gonna go back to is I don't know. Again, I hear my brother calling me out for my blind optimism again, but like I really do feel at the end of the day, the special thing that brings a lot of you here every Friday is that it is me and Tom. It's the personality, it's the person, it's the creator behind the content, like building that bond.
Yeah. Forgetting the intro.
The bond between I don't even want to say audience, but like the viewer and the creator matters. So even though these other ones are getting hits, it's like, long term, right? I don't know.
It could potentially end up being like short form versus long form, where a couple years ago it's like, wow, these short form videos are getting bajillions of views, and now it's, even in the state of the creator economy talk that we saw, they were like, companies aren't interested in doing anything with like short form stuff, or there's nothing to be had. The giant numbers almost don't mean anything.
Yeah. AI is soulless. You can tell when a person made it. I think that is going to be harder and harder to differentiate, though.
It's definitely, it's already gotten so much better in the past year, but hopefully.
Angela is here. Angela Tizeno. I remember seeing your comment under my creator economy is a mess video. So welcome. I always say I'm not an influencer. I'm a creator who influences.
Yeah. Having influence is a cool, powerful, responsibility.
Friends, family, like that's a thing. Yeah. Like it's just word of mouth. Why wouldn't I tell you about this really cool thing I found that I think you would find interesting? Yeah. Because I care about you. Like,
how many times you talk to your brother and tell him to play a video game or whatever?
Yeah. Or like, I tried that restaurant down the street. You should go check it out. It's awesome. They have happy hour, whatever. Like we always do that as a base human thing. The problem is when it's not organic, because then it's like, well, are you telling me because you care, or are you telling me because you got paid?
Right.
Then when the whole internet is like that, then it's like, it's hard. I understand why people do it, but yeah. Gil says, I didn't know when's the last Peter McKinnon video I've seen and love Peter, but to me his content became soulless. Game Changer, one video later, they don't even use the Game Changer thing.
Yeah. That's true.
Fellow filmmaker,
hey,
thanks for being here. Do y'all think unscripted, no preview sponsored content, like I do, is a workaround?
I think that really does help, because then it's playing into the authenticity, because that's what I do too. Like,
wait, what? Oh,
there's no preview. They don't send a script.
The company doesn't get to
once in a while. I've done one sponsored thing in the past 15 months.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I will sometimes send a thing for fact checking. If it's like, especially if it's something like.
Well, I think for your niche, that's important.
Yeah, it depends on what it is. But even recently, so I did a video, an Artlist sponsorship recently, which they were the first ones that ever did a sponsor thing. And it's just a 60-second thing in the middle of the video. And, they obviously it was just whatever. I decided what to screen record, what to talk about, whatever. But I sent it to them because I know that their licenses have changed, their subscriptions have changed, and I wanted to make sure that the stuff I said was accurate. I just wanted to double check, and it was. But I sent the video to them ahead of time just for that reason, because I wanted to make sure that I was right.
Did you say everything right?
Yeah, correctly.
Yeah.
Just for their part, I don't even know if they watched or cared about the rest of the video, but just for that chunk right there. And they said it was. And if it wasn't, I wouldn't have changed what I said or my approach. I would have just corrected the information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Preview Mai says, that's why your channel is fun. Just like having 100 Roadcaster videos, because you tell it from your heart, and sometimes you try new things and try combinations.
Yeah, it's a lot of what if this? What about this plus this? And and that, just this morning I was texting Aaron Precky about the best way to connect a Roadcaster to a YOLO box. Because I want to know. And he's like, I never used a Roadcaster. I need to use one. Maybe you could do this. Okay, I'll try it. That's just how it is all the time.
Audio Hotline says, Lewitt told me the title has to either be autofocus for your voice or this changes everything.
What about autofocus for your voice changes everything? And then you're shocked in the thumbnail.
Open mouth shocked.
Yeah.
CGXL Media, yo family, what's up? Andre says the people and the presence is important, but if a web page like that steals 20% views from a video, that's going to hit the AdSense income.
True. Not
that I have to worry about that at the moment. I think it will, but long term though, this is what I think. I feel you have more insight to tell me if I'm wrong. If it took 20% income, like a webpage took 20% income from AdSense from a creator's video, I do feel like if the creator keeps doing what the creator is doing, then even though they take that 20% loss on that one video, they make so much more long term just being themselves and creating authentic content. So even though you have these like fringe websites kind of cashing in on your thing, I think if you just keep doing your thing, like, it sucks. I don't know how to control art being stolen. Right. You know, like that's essentially what it is, and it's happening everywhere. Unfortunately, right now, as far as I know, there's no way to deal with it unless you're massively huge and have the resources to, you know, you have a legal team that can do something about it. But I do think that, like, I feel like it would be more work to try to get that 20% back than just like keep going. That's what I think. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, yeah.
Because I think because that website is not developing a relationship with their audience. You are, though, right? And as you continue to develop that relationship with a wider audience, you will make more AdSense, even though you take that hit with that thing. I don't know. Does that make sense? Hassan, sorry for Heather for missing so many huddle sessions. We give a release hard. No worries. I know you're on the other side of the universe, so it's okay. Audrey says the problem is when creators just rehash old content like a 5 things video where one of the things is music from Artlist and all the other 4 are just tips pulled out of their butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. Super chat. I love you guys. Your videos are helpful.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's move on to the next topic.
Thank you for making topics, by the way.
Do you have any topics?
No, this is really helpful.
Well, let me ask you, is there something that sticks out to you as like, oh, this is creator content?
Let's go through yours and we'll see.
Well, I wanted to see if we can come up with something that's on the list.
I mean, my big thing that I've been...
I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No, my big thing that I've been arguing for... Okay, back when I was... I've told you this countless times. Back when I was teaching, we'd have all these days where it'd be like, professional development day, you need to do this and come up with all these strategies to solve problems. And literally... when it comes to public education, the solution to almost every problem is smaller class sizes. Literally, like every problem, that's the solution to. And I would literally be laughed at. And keep in mind when I say smaller class sizes, I'm talking about high school classes with 45 to 50 students in them. How am I supposed to differentiate and like provide individualized instruction to 50 kids at the same time? Yes, it's no wonder that students are failing, that behavioral problems are popping up, that, you know, special needs are going unaddressed. Yeah, but if I had 25 kids, 20 kids in a class, I mean, that's really low. 30 kids in a class.
Yeah, that would be wishful thinking. You'll take 30.
Yeah, but I mean, but even 30, like not that long ago, people would have been like filing complaints with their union about having a class of 30 or more. And it's like, literally, we were at the point where if a class had fewer than 40 in it, the class would be collapsed because it wasn't big enough. And every time I brought that up in anything, I'm not even joking when I say I would literally be laughed at. It'd be like, you need to come up with these strategies to build relationships, do whatever, smaller class sizes. Haha, no, seriously. What? Oh, so the answer is, what am I going to do on my unpaid off time to continue doing this? It was this thing like, here's all these problems. Here is the solution. It will never happen. My new version of that as a full-time creator is what would really help and what do creators need, especially creators who don't have these massive teams, especially creators. For example, if you get to the many 7 figures thing, if you're a Marquez Brownlee or a Mr. Beast or anyone in that realm, not only say something happens to your channel, it becomes one of those Bitcoin scam live streams or something. YouTube will fix that probably before anyone even notices. If that happens to somebody else,
Definitely
you
by
might never
end of
ever get it
day.
back. It might just be
Right.
done with your channel. If you or I upload a video and there's a problem with it or something goes wrong and we need to make one change, the only way to change is to totally delete it and re-upload it, which kills all of the comments, all of the whatever. If it happened to be an algorithmic sweetheart, it goes away. All those things disappear. If they need to make a change in a video, even if it's for kind of a shady purpose, they can actually just replace their video file. Someone from YouTube will just swap out the file. Video never changes. URL never changes. Comments, ad revenue, none of that ever changes. And I get it. I get that they are cumulatively bringing in a lot more. But my version of smaller class sizes is, what if platforms did almost anything to create at least a modicum of stability so it doesn't feel like you're building a house on quicksand? Where I was telling Heather this morning, one of the first things I do when I wake up, check the phone, check my YouTube channel. I'm not checking analytics. I'm not checking comments. I'm not checking this stuff. I'm checking that the channel is still there. And it'd be nice to...
Has it been hacked?
It'd be nice to not have to, like...
It's a very real risk.
Yeah. It would be nice if that wasn't so much at the forefront of everything. And it's the internet, it's YouTube. There's a million reasons why I understand smaller channels aren't going to get the same level of treatment and can't. There's literally like a staffing issue where they can't get the same level of treatment as the bigger channels. But something, and this is what I've been talking about, and I feel like this goes into small business creator and creator economy stuff. I think there needs to be, I understand those channels are huge and they're over there, but everything below that, if you have 2 million subscribers or literally like 8 subscribers, you're kind of just thrown in the same tub as far as YouTube is concerned. And those channels have vastly different needs and bring vastly different things to the platform. And I feel like when there's a channel, it's not even so much based on audience size, but a channel that has shown itself to be consistent, sustainable, building an audience, like all of those kinds of things that I would guess YouTube as a platform wants a channel to be. If that channel could get something, some level of support, some level of assurance, some level of stability and security to make you feel less crazy for investing in the platform, that would be a huge win.
Yeah.
Just today, somebody left a comment on a Patreon post and said, "Hey, Tom, I noticed you have Patreon and YouTube channel memberships. Which do you prefer? Because I want to make sure I support the one that you prefer." I have both because people like both, but I had to tell him, I was like, whatever works for you is easiest. If I had to tell you what I prefer Patreon, because even though YouTube channel memberships are infinitely easier to integrate, it's all one basket, and I don't trust that basket.
Yeah.
So having some of the eggs over here is better overall. It'd be great if that weren't the case. Like, what if I could just not do that and focus on, just YouTube channel memberships and actually take advantage of all those features? When I did my live stream yesterday, can't do a members only live stream because Patreon gets left out. So I do an unlisted live stream and send it to both. It's not a big deal, but like, what if I didn't have to do that?
Right.
And there's a million little things like that happen when you're sort of this size creator.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I blacked out and said a bunch of stuff.
Are you back?
I'm back. All right.
All right, cool. I mean, I agree. I don't understand how, because like you said, it's a staffing issue. There's literally not enough resource to go around. I don't think that's, and at the end of the day, YouTube is a business, and a business is going to do what's best for itself, right? That part of my whole last video was pitching this idea of the small business creator. But the difference for a small business in person is that a small business is building its business on a street, right? Like the only person you kind of have to check things with is the city. And oftentimes the city is just going to check for like zoning issues, right? Or things like you probably can't build a liquor store right next to an elementary school. Other than that, you could probably make your business be whatever you want and monetize however you want. The city doesn't care, right? YouTube, though, like, it's a business with its own goals, and the problem is, like, each one of us is so replaceable. Like you said this morning, if you stopped someone would take your place.
Well, this is where
Right
this
away.
is why I think that it is there should collectively, not in some way, I would like for this group not to be left out of the conversation, because I'm replaceable, you're replaceable, but all of us
Yeah.
are not, and that would really hurt. The more that, if all of those creators leave and all those channels leave, then it really does hurt the business of YouTube. And I think it's in their best interest to, especially, I forget what it was, some podcast, something we listened to, where it's like, because you could potentially have a massive creator who's a singular source of views, income, audience, and if they suddenly decide, you know what, it's New Year's, I'm quitting, I'm done, whatever, that one creator like suddenly has a huge hit. It's like if you make $5,000 a month on Patreon, which by the way I absolutely do not, but I know people who do, but you have one $5,000 patron.
If that one left,
It's a high risk situation. If you have $5,001 patrons, it's so much easier for people to come and go, but collectively, if they all left, you're in a problem. And it's like, it's sort of that, it's that recognition of you might naturally go towards the brightest, biggest, shiniest object, but these other things here are really valuable and strong, and something that probably shouldn't be ignored either.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I agree.
Yeah.
All right, let me go down my list. Let me continue. Let's see. Oh, so I didn't know how to describe this, and I think we talked a little bit about this, but one of the issues that I feel is relevant to the state of the creator economy in 2024 is that a lot of the content that we're seeing is super loud, fast, short, insanely overstimulating, and that is what's saturating. Like, if you take all your, and I'll speak for myself, right? If I take the time I spent consuming content, I would say most of it, because I actually spend a lot of my time on Instagram, is this type of content. Personally, it's a lot of like dogs content. It's like birds and stuff. Yeah. It's not, I can't stand the quick cuts and the, with the captions on it, and because
hey guys, this is the road interview go. It's the only interview like you need. These are the settings for your best whatever. Like that.
I'm not hating
tone
on it. If you do it, awesome. It just gives me a headache though. Like I can't.
I gave myself a headache.
It's too much. Like it's too much. Like I immediately go, oh, yeah, and I start swiping. I gotta go see a dog drinking water out of a bowl and just like calm myself. And the thing is, I do feel like that kind of content is being incentivized right now, especially like even with shorts, because that type of if you're trying to catch someone's attention in 10 freaking seconds, like it lends itself to be insane. Like
we were in a doctor's office waiting room a couple hours ago before the stream, and there was an older woman there who was on her phone with the audio up.
Oh my gosh! So neither of us have TikTok.
She had to be watching TikTok.
I have never downloaded it, so whatever. I just haven't. I just didn't want another thing, right? And her audio was so loud, and just hearing her swipe between the things, it was like, here's this new skincare product, I really like this, and da-da-da. Boom. Eminem is doing this thing.
Eminem killed Tupac or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this woman?
Yeah, swipe. Then it was like news, swipe. Then it was this, and I was just like, how do you deal with the whiplash of just like this really important issue that we need to talk about to like, yes, I also need to like take care of my skin, to like celebrity gossip, to like this. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fox News to gangster rap. It was like,
And then like when we were, this was later, right? Or that lady went in, and then this older gentleman bumped into his friend.
Actually, I think it was the same woman.
No.
It wasn't?
Oh, was it?
I think this lady came out. She's quite talkative. She came out. There was an older guy there, maybe in like his 70s, I would say. And she was going to leave, and she was like, hey, you're looking great. Like, you're healing so well. So I was like, he must have done something. And she was like, how's marriage treating you? And then he launched into this whole Match.com story,
Yeah,
which I wanted to hear the rest of.
Like, I was just looking at Tom because I didn't want to make it obvious I was eavesdropping on their conversation, but I was like, this is the cutest freaking story. And I told him, I was like, you know what I would watch a YouTube channel of is all this. Like, how did you, in your 70s you found love on Match?
It was such a different thing because he was explaining like, being nervous for signing up for Match, signing up for Match,
and
then
like rejection.
You get matched with people, and humans are inherently like sensitive to rejection. So he never wanted to say anything to someone unless they already reached out to him, because that at least meant that they had some level of interest. And he found this person. He was scared to talk to her. They went out to coffee for 20 minutes, and they started talking for a month. Now they're married, but we didn't get to hear the end of the story. But like, he was just telling the story. And I would have just watched him talking head, no B-roll.
Yeah.
Or listen to the podcast or whatever of this.
Talking head, no B-roll. No editing. Just like.
Yeah.
And it was just such a nice reminder of, I know we will always like that content. I don't know, right? I want to say that people will always want that human thing, right? But I do feel like all the platforms that we spend our time on are incentivizing the craziness. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I'm just pointing it out as an issue. All right, let's check in with the comments real quick. Tom doesn't have topics. He has Tom picks.
Actually, that's what I call selfies. Tom picks.
Sorry, I missed that one. Sometimes his puns, like, I don't get it, so he has to explain.
Yeah,
it
they're
to me.
so clever. It's not that they're bad.
Kathy is here. That you don't lose everything. Yes. Michael says, Patreon to me has always felt like it was built for the small size creator. That's why I support creators there.
Yeah.
Ricky Robinson says, yeah, I understand how you feel about the content being too fast. I feel like if I don't do it, then they will click off my videos because I'm too boring or too low energy. See, and this is the freaking problem, is because now you feel like you have to do it too, of course.
Yeah, but that's the thing too, is I was telling Heather, there's a couple people we know who have very large followings gained primarily through very fast cutting short form content. And one of whom, like, we know mostly online, not so much in person, but I saw one of the things pop up yesterday, kind of was like curious about it, and look at the comments. It's, person with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers. The video itself, I don't know, the video's millions of views. I think it's like hundreds of millions of views total on the channel. There's like 5 comments. And 3 of the comments are just like, yeah. Versus you go to your video about the small business creator and the state of the creator economy.
Essays.
Yeah, paragraphs from people.
Full on essays.
Sure, it's not as many views and it's not as many whatever, but
right.
Talk about the depth.
Yes. And like, I get it. I feel it's hard for me to talk about because I don't want to judge anybody for, like, obviously if you want the views and you want the money that comes with a lot of views, I get it, right? But like, I feel like the thing that I get out of it is it's being able to have these kinds of conversations. And I feel like these kinds of conversations, not that I'm going to monetize the crap out of you guys, but like, I feel like this is the thing that, like, long term can turn into a value driven business,
right.
It can be a business, a successful one. And that's actually why. So at the end of the second half of my video, I came up with this term, the small business creator, which what I wanted to get into, I don't know if we're gonna have time.
Like, we're our own bosses. We can.
Is like, who or what criteria fits who we're talking about? Because right now the examples we have are me and Tom, but like offline we have a whole list, right? And I wanted to share some of that list, but more importantly, like, what is the criteria?
So it's the idea that a YouTube creator like you and I would have more in common with a small business owner than a Mr. Beast. Even though those larger creators and us, we have the same title, creator, but there's so little, there's just...
It goes back to what Andre said about, like, the artisanal, right? Like, I feel like I put small business as part of the name because I feel like, at least here in America, small business owners are valued. yes, we all shop on Amazon, but I feel like everyone recognizes the value of shopping local, shopping with the person who who owns the business, right? Like the neighborhood haunt that you know, where you go get happy hour every week, or I was gonna say the bookshop, but they don't exist anymore. But like
the hairdresser and the
the chiropractor,
the bakery.
Exactly. These handmade, locally made, locally sourced. I feel like everyone recognizes the value of the small business owner, which is why I tacked that on to creator, because I feel like creator gets watered down with influencer and doing it for the views and, making content that like anybody can make, or making content that doesn't take any effort, like low effort content. Like that's all happening, but I want to differentiate between the person who is a family owned business. Like they put their heart, their soul, it's the first thing they think about when they wake up, the last thing they think about when they go to bed. Yes, we're one person, but that's the amount of effort that we're putting into the stuff that we create content about, right? I forgot why I went into that.
Well, we're just trying to explain what it meant, and there's also the idea too of like enough is enough in the good. Like there's a very big difference between, I don't remember if it's couples table or just you and I talking, but I've been rewatching Bob's Burgers, the whole series lately, but there's a big difference between being Bob's Burgers and McDonald's. You could say both are burger restaurants, but Bob's Burgers, one location, family run. That's it. McDonald's, global franchise, billions and billions served. It literally says right there on the sign. The way that they approach things, even though on the surface they seem to be the same thing, would be entirely different. And not everyone who's in a Bob's Burgers situation wants to become a McDonald's. And so much in the current creator economy is geared towards...
It's just shoving this one way of being successful.
Person who might be making ends meet right now, cool. Don't you want to get to Mount Beast over here?
Have a studio and
you need a team. You need a studio. You need a CEO. You need a brand manager. You need this. And it's like, if you want those things, there's genuinely nothing wrong with that. But so much of the creator economy material is already focused on that. Like there's no, which is weird because a lot of those people by the time, I don't know what insight they're going to get by going to a talk about it. Like they already know. But so many resources, so much is already geared towards that.
Yeah.
There is a lot also geared towards the absolute beginner who wants to dive in, like create a channel, put themselves out there for the first time. And there's kind of just a wasteland for people in the middle, especially if they don't necessarily aspire to go beyond their one shop,
Yeah.
And you actually end up feeling bad about yourself because you feel like you're not ambitious, you're not smart, you're bad at this, you're giving up opportunities.
Well, after I put that video out, I started to question everything, which this is just I have anxiety. My self-doubt is real loud, so I was going to do that anyway, but it oftentimes kind of makes me second guess, like are we happy, babe?
And I'm like, yeah, everything's great. Are you not?
Well, because it's just like, are we weird for not wanting the damn team? Like, I don't know. And it's not like I don't want to make it seem like that that's the bad way or whatever. Like,
it's a different way, and in my mind, there's just already so many resources for it.
Yeah, so I think the reason why I even brought all this up is Ricky's comment. I understand how you feel about the content being too fast. I feel that if I don't do it, people will click off because videos are too boring and too low energy. And so it I don't know, it's the person who is wants to sincerely succeed, but how do you balance between this is what the platforms that we literally create content on are incentivizing, but still be authentic to who you are?
Right.
And I feel like that, I don't think there's an easy answer for that. And especially when the platforms are constantly changing, it's like, it's an ongoing thing to deal with. Mm-hmm. But I do think that there should be a space where we can support each other in trying to deal with this. Okay, moving on. The road to health. Keto done right. I think that many companies are threatened by creators. So the conference coordinator for the mainstream media needs to invalidate us to protect themselves. See, I actually disagree though. Many companies are
It depends
threatened by...
on
I disagree. And I'll tell you why. I feel like, well, here, this is what I think, okay? I think creators are the best thing to happen to companies, in my opinion, because we're doing their marketing, we're doing their advertising for 90% discount, basically, compared to a TV commercial. Like, hell yeah, milk the shit
I think it
out of
depends
all these
on the
creators
company, though. And that I agree. Because if you go to
like McDonald's, literally their commercials are just cell phone. Like, it's just someone in their car propped it up on the steering wheel and is eating chicken McNuggets. You would have had to spend a lot of money to create this very well-produced commercial. Now you're just using user-generated content. I mean, I don't know if it was actually user-generated or if they actually spent the budget to make it look...
I think they spent the budget to make it look
like it was, yeah. But I think that companies are able to get the same amount of exposure for a lot less money. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think for products, we saw that at NAB. Like all the booths there, they want that. But I think the companies upstairs from the show floor, maybe even the platforms, are a little more threatened by... I feel like, how is it worded here? Invalidate us to protect them. It is a thing of like, you should be so lucky to create for us.
I don't get that vibe. Okay,
I definitely get that
if that's the vibe, then freaking A. Let's just go home. Like what are we even doing then?
Well, that's the whole thing of why I want the value of the small business sized creator.
Yeah.
To be recognized. Because that's not what was recognized when we saw the state of the creator economy. And it was a bunch of people talking about joining SAG and having lawyers and listen to CEO of Mr. Beast.
Obs is here. Hey, y'all. Andre, TikTok is like having autofire on your remote when channel surfing. Yeah, that's it. I've been without internet since Wednesday at 7:30.
You're still alive?
Do you feel
oh my
like
God.
completely zenned out right now then? Like just totally
or
at
just
peace?
completely stressed.
Michael says, my wife has no interest in content creation, but her favorite videos are the ones detailing your journey from first comment to wedding day. Oh my God, that's adorable. Someone left a comment on our proposal video.
Yeah.
Like, I think everyone here knows this. I proposed to Tom. I asked him to marry me through a YouTube. Well, I played it to him first, and then I put it on YouTube.
Yeah, it wasn't like, what's this? Rang the bell, got this notification.
Yeah, it's not like someone saw it before him. And then at the end of that proposal video, Tom proposed to me and recorded it with a drone, and I added that footage at the end of it. Because the way that we're getting off topic, but the way that we decided to propose was I was like, I don't want it to just be you. I want to be able to propose too. So let's pick a day that we're going to propose to each other.
Because at that point, it was like, obviously we're going to get married.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a surprise.
And then that way I can also plan something, but the guy can plan something.
We didn't
right?
know what the other planned.
Yeah.
So there's still the surprise of like, you know, she was like, I need a couple hours at this time. I was like, I need this time. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know why I went there.
Because Michael's comment about
I got it. Matt says the advantage of being retired and somewhat financially set. I just do what I want.
Yep. That's the most powerful position in the world.
It's the best. I'm not there, but that would be cool. Preston says, do you guys watch Luke with the Outdoors Boys? His content has my entire family glued to the TV.
I haven't, but
No.
kind of want to check it out after that.
Love the format and the layout of your set. Thank you. Privy Mai, I think you should divide viewers into intrinsic and extrinsic YouTube. In the world, you also have those two groups.
We were using those exact words
all
earlier
the time.
today.
I mean, I don't know if we'll get to it today. I feel like it's worth the discussion though, so I feel like we should get to it of the criteria that we are trying to describe. I picked small business creator. I don't think it's catching on, so I might change the word, but for now we're going to use that.
Sure.
Someone like Tom and I. Okay. I think you should divide. Oh, yeah. Michael, you two are the team and it shows. I'm at media companies. Sorry. Okay. Yes. In that case, that makes sense, right?
Because that was part of our frustration with NAB was was we went upstairs and felt very invalidated. Meanwhile, downstairs, there's all these creators who can literally walk over to a company booth, not only have a relationship with the company, but literally see new products that have been developed based on feedback from that person. Like,
I talk about whiplash. Exactly. It was like,
you can go down there, talk to them, and feel like you're the most important person in the room. Go upstairs and feel like you're just garbage.
Yeah, it was so weird. It was so weird. That was what was so confusing, because it was like I went to that talk and they said this, then I went downstairs and then I was like, I'm looking at the companies, I'm looking at the creators. We're all having a great time and everyone is winning here. This is not what they said, and I'm not. It was just weird. It was just a big
disconnect there.
Oh, I thought we got disconnected. Each of you are the consultants to the other's channel.
That's true.
Okay. Hey, Sammy.
Hey.
Good to see you. So I had 2 other points, but I don't think we're going to have time to talk about them. The other one was online course / subscription fatigue. I feel like that's a huge issue for the creator economy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I wrote how to be real in a world that incentivizes shallow, which we already talked about. Okay. So the small business creator, really quick. I know we're at the top of the hour, but do you want to talk about the criteria?
Yeah. So this is.
So you're talking about the what did you call it? A middle-sized.
Essentially, I mean, it's not someone who's just starting out, which is obviously an important part of everybody's journey. But it's somebody who is a content creator who essentially runs their channel like a small business, like a mom and pop shop. Or maybe it's just a mom or a pop, like it's just it's a small business, and that is very different than when you look to the very highest end. And it's not to say that those are bad, even if it's not what we want or prefer. There's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with crossing through, the small business side of things on your way to that giant place. But there's this middle ground that is just, it's like completely overlooked. I was going to say I think most people are there, but I don't know if most people are there. But it's a huge chunk that's very much overlooked. And who are those people? What are some qualities? So we met a ton of them at NAB, and we're trying to figure out, like, okay, this is a very broad group of people. What do they have in common? Like, what, regardless of niche, regardless of, that kind of thing, what are the things that identify them? Right?
Yep. I wrote a list.
I know you did. Because you're a list maker.
Okay, ready? This is not in order.
Okay, just random.
I feel like this creator, for them, authenticity, creative expression, and individuality is paramount. And it's about connecting with people who get it versus connecting with the masses. Well, how do you feel about that?
I agree. I mean, that's my whole video about finding your context as a human being. Like that is, you asked me earlier, like, why do you make YouTube videos? And I was like, well, because I love making videos. And that's why I want to start a channel. And then I was able to contextualize myself as a person, which I did not expect, but is definitely something that became like the reason.
The thing that I feel like is tricky with that is that, like, it's hard because obviously we want to grow. We celebrate when we hit milestones, like 10,000, 50,000. We get a silver play button. How do you find, like, the balance between I'm actually connecting on a deeper level versus I'm doing it for the views or the growth or the subscribers?
I mean, I don't know. That's the worst answer. You could just tell. You can follow your gut. It's the same thing. Like I told you about the massively viewed thing I saw yesterday that had a couple comments that was like, yeah, keep going, versus like, let's get into discussions about the topic. If people aren't like genuinely engaging with what you're making and getting into discussions with it, it might not be hitting the way that you want it to hit.
So over the years, I have met a ton of creators, and I can tell a vibe. And again, there's nothing wrong. I feel like I don't want to make anybody feel bad for their goals. So you do you. But I can definitely tell when someone, it like almost doesn't matter what they're creating content about. as long as they are getting views, right? Because they want to be a content creator, they want to be an influencer, and it doesn't even matter like what you
for,
yeah. Like if this video game is trending, then go play that video game. Or if I don't know, shorts is trending now, I'm gonna make shorts, I'm gonna figure out how to make it work. Then that's fine. But I do feel like this group of people that we're talking about, like, you couldn't make a channel about anything else aside from this, because this is the thing that you can talk about forever and ever.
Yeah, it's been like 34 years at this point. I can't
And
stop.
I feel like when we look at the list of people that we're talking about that we put together, I feel like it's the same across the board. Like there is a passion for the subject
There's
matter.
definitely an intrinsic motivation.
Yes. And like, whether it's the watercolor artist or someone who's super into audio video, or, a music
Scale
person.
model builder.
Yeah, exactly. We have the skill set to make a channel about whatever, but we want to make this content about this thing and bring together the people who are also into that thing.
Yes.
That's the special thing. That's different from I want to make a TV show.
It's very different.
Okay. Integrity and ethics.
You
This
have
one's
them.
hard. I don't know what to say about this, but I do feel like
I mean, I feel like a lot of us here, I know you, and maybe, based on what fellow filmmaker said in the chat and maybe a couple other people, I feel like in this group that we're talking about, money has been left on the table for the sake of your integrity.
yes, there you go. Thank you. See, that's why we're doing this together. Influencing happens organically.
Yes. I mean, that's I was I was reading a thread on Reddit the other day because I was in the videography subreddit, which I really like, but then there's a thread popped up that was like, do you actually trust YouTube reviewers? And the whole thing was just people crapping all over YouTube. And it was like, the whole thread is just a case study, and tell me you've never made anything for YouTube without telling me you've never made anything for YouTube, but you think you know exactly how everything works. And so many people there were just like, as soon as I see an affiliate link, the person loses all my trust. I'm like, all right, buddy. Like, and to be fair to them, there are plenty of people who absolutely abuse that, who will absolutely make something just to throw an affiliate link out there. But what was the thing there? Influencing happens organically. Yeah. So,
because I think it goes back to the word of mouth thing.
Yeah.
Like, why am I? Obviously, I'm going to tell you about this thing that I feel like is that I like. Like, why wouldn't I do that?
So we were talking at the very, very beginning that the next video that I want to make is a studio tour video. Where just, especially with the new layout, I want to make that because my studio for the first time in many years has actually changed. And I want to share that. Now, in doing so, I know that there are going to be certain questions. If I talk about this is a mic arm, this is a desk mat, this is whatever, people might see that and go, that would be perfect in my place. Instead of me having to keep an eye on all of those comments and monitor them individually, I can just put a bunch of links in the description that say, hey, here's the stuff here's most of the stuff you saw in this video. Here you go. That's not why I'm making the video. It could influence people to buy those things, but that's fine. Like, there's nothing there. That is organic.
Yeah.
You know how many reporterstore.com windscreens I have helped sell for zero affiliate revenue? Because
True.
Yeah, but everybody gets directed to reporterstore.com because that's where I get all my windscreens. Because I really like colored windscreens. And other people do too, it turns out.
I mean, I'll tell this story all day, but Doc offered to give me a free subscription to Ecamm, and I said no, and I pay for it because when I made a bunch of Ecamm tutorials, I was like, I feel like they would be more impactful.
I am also a paying Ecamm customer.
Yeah, you're coming from. Exactly. Like, we have that in common. There was no incentive for me to make this video because I'm paying for it too.
Right.
Yes, I'm also getting paid through affiliate, but like I'm making these videos anyway, regardless of what happens, whether I make sales or not on affiliate or commission, whatever. Okay. Next point is the right fit matters for whatever is being sold. So I guess my point there was like, okay, like for example, online courses. I think when it comes to a lot of online courses, they use the marketing funnel and they just get freaking a million bodies into the funnel. It does not even matter who the freaking million people are.
I have told a lot of people not to buy my courses.
Yes, exactly. I feel like, you know, I'm going to use the watercolor artist as an example. Like, obviously, if you're not into watercolor, don't buy the course. But there's so many like styles and preferences, and it's like this, whatever product that the creator is going to sell, it's coming from experience, right? It's coming from experience of having used that thing, or even like Peter's battery charger.
Right.
Peter Lindgren developed a battery charger and designed the thing from scratch based on his own experience and pain points that he had to go through. He developed his own solution for his own problem that, hey, guess what? A lot of his audience has the same problem.
Right.
And I feel like that could only happen if you have that organic thing with your audience versus just shove. It doesn't even matter.
It's the thing
just
of
get the emails.
A solution in search of a problem. Here's the thing. Now, that's just how we push people towards the thing versus like.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So next point is, I do feel like the creators that I've talked to that I feel like fit this bill, making a difference is a priority, or making an impact, or I feel like I get a lot of joy from being able to inspire people. And every day I'm like, how I cannot believe that this is something I could do, because if I didn't have YouTube, I wouldn't be able to have this impact. Like it would be my dogs, you know, but it's cool that like I can help somebody even in a small way because of YouTube. Like that's a cool thing. And I feel like, you know, obviously on your channel, we've seen this a lot. People have been inspired to find their voice, you know, and you were doing that anyway already in your classroom, but it's cool that you can do this worldwide through YouTube.
Right.
I also said that this group does not use the word entrepreneur or influencer to describe themselves. I don't know if that's true. I'm guessing.
Yeah, it seems like the people we've talked to who seem to fit the bill,
hypothesis.
even if that's what they are and that's what they're doing, that's not how they describe themselves, probably because it's not the main priority.
And then the last thing I wrote was the power of one. So it's the one person creator, obviously.
Yeah, it's not the person that has a giant team. Maybe, you know, maybe you have another person that you work on with, you know, if we had a channel called Heather and Tom, and Heather and Tom both working on the channel. Becky and Chris is a good example. Or even us, you know, like, can you watch my video? Can you do this? Can you hold a camera and help film a thing? Like, we help each other out, but for the most part, your channel is you doing everything. My channel is me doing everything for the most part. And the people we talk to, for the most part, they kind of have to handle everything. And it's that includes a lot of stuff so far beyond just making videos that you might not be prepared for.
Did I forget anything? Or is there anything on that list that I didn't?
Minimum income, revenue. Yeah. So another thing is, if we're talking about, we're not talking about YouTube creators. We're talking about like small business creators. And so there kind of needs to be a minimum threshold there where it does separate from like the person who's starting out, sandboxing it, getting going. Where are you at when
building an audience is hard?
You've opened your business, right? You've got your storefront,
exactly.
Your shop is open, and now you're maintaining the day-to-day. That's different than sitting around the kitchen table coming up with the business plan, you know, all of which are important parts of it. And so the number that we were talking about, that you were talking about, was $10,000 annually revenue?
Minimum, yeah.
Minimum.
As a minimum.
It's a life-changing amount of money, right?
Yeah.
But it's also, you know, less than $1,000 a month still.
Yes, because if it's just a side gig, then you know, that's fine.
So it doesn't mean that this is their full-time job, but it's generating some kind of revenue.
Yeah.
You've opened your business, you've got some customers, you're generating at least $10,000 a year.
Yeah.
And at that point, the problems that you have, the things that you're focusing on, the questions are going to be different than the person who might end up being paying $10,000 a year to run their channel. You know, exactly. A lot of us start in the negative when we start our channels.
Yes, exactly. So these are the criteria we came up with. We can do this in another video of who we think fits this bill.
Yeah.
But I want to try to create something that supports these creators. I don't know what it's going to be, but
if you have thoughts or ideas, you can leave them in the chat or the comments.
yeah.
But that's kind of the, I don't know, that's the basic way to describe something that is still very much like a brainstorm phase.
Yeah. All right, let's check in with the comments. Let's see. Michael says upstairs at the Creator Lab was very disheartening.
So sad to hear that.
I didn't walk around the Creator Lab. I did a little jump rope video in front of
it was great that it was there, and it was great they were trying to do that. It just, the programming didn't land the way that I'm sure they wanted it to and hoped that it would.
Honestly, I don't know. Because, see, now I'm second guessing myself. Because, okay.
I know.
If you're at NAB, your traditional media, then yeah, it was great. But I kind of got the impression that why would you have a creator lab if it's not catered towards creators?
It was. That was catered to.
See, that's the problem. Is like
right.
it.
That's what I'm saying. It didn't land the way that they wanted it to. But it's also, I can't say this for sure. I would genuinely be willing to bet money that the description for the session we saw was written by AI, because I asked AI to write a description for that session and it gave me a very similar one. And then there was another session later that was clearly not written by AI that was grammatically weird and wrong and only one sentence.
Like a human would have written
very
it.
Clearly a human. Both showed an amount of sort of carelessness and lack of attention to detail. But at least one was human, one wasn't. But to me, that showed that's how much thought this is being given. If you're not even,
right.
And I don't know, maybe someone just has a writer's voice that sounds like AI. But to me, it sounded like you threw up a bunch of things, threw it into chat, sit up here and talk about Mr. Beast on a microphone for a while. Boom, creators are done. Check that off the box. Move on to the next thing. Your desk is piled with a to-do list. And that seemed to be the level of care that was put into the programming, which I know from the people we talked to who were pushing for there to even be programming, they did not seem that that's what they wanted. They wanted more. But, by the time that passion and intent gets handed off to this person, passed off to this person, to what actually happens, it just wasn't there.
Yeah. I don't know. It just felt weird.
It was super weird.
Disheartening is the best way to put it. And you're not the only one who felt that way that was there. Audrey said, having not watched linear TV for almost 6 to 7 years, I could totally see the bigger TV networks starting to feel the squeeze. The small business creator is like the freelance designer in the design world. You have small and big design companies, and you have the freelancers. Just the small creator channels running a business.
Freelance creator.
Preston says, loved all the content you guys made at NAB. I hope B&H sends you back next year.
Hey, B&H, please.
Let's see. Matt says, I consulted to Fox Sports, NASCAR, and NFL, and sports still works, but there is no reason for the rest other than they're still going.
Network television is kind of uniquely equipped to handle sports.
Yes. I trust so few YouTubers. Tom, Gerald, Curtis. There are others, but being somewhat of an expert myself, I know when they're just being sales agents.
You can see the matrix.
Michael Cunningham. Tom, you should set up a UTM link for the news reporter site to the colored mic cover so you can track how many people actually go to the site from your YouTube.
It'd be interesting to know.
Andre, Rode just launched a phone cage with magnetic mount for phones. My reaction was, why didn't you include a charger in the magnet? So I told him, if they make it, you know where it came from.
That would be cool. They do listen.
Blooming Creativity's here. Love you guys. The motivation and inspiration you give so generously. Thank you.
Oh, it's very sweet.
Andre, if you continue talking about the issue like now, I think it's a great start. Dialogue and awareness is the first important step. The rest will come at the right time.
That's what I've been saying. I've been saying the same thing. You got to start the conversation, and then you don't know where it goes.
There's definitely times where I'm like, does this matter?
But that's where the self-doubt, I want to overcome the self-doubt, is you just have the conversation and just...
I'm just like...
Because Heather, the practical side of her wants to have an endpoint. I'm doing it for this reason, boom, to go here, but that's where I feel like we don't know what that is. So you have to sort of figure it out.
Let me put it out there. Let me tell you my biggest issue right now. We have a list of criteria, okay, that would identify who these creators are that we are talking about, right?
Sure.
Then what?
Right, I don't know.
That is my issue, is like, so what? If I say there's 100 people, 1,000 people that fit this bill, what do? I don't know. Like,
That's what I feel
want
like.
to help, but I don't know how. I don't know. Is it a freaking Discord server? Is it like a survey? Like, is it a Zoom call? I don't know. I really don't know.
I think it's just starting here and figuring it out.
I know, but I like literally. I've already made 2 videos, follow-up videos to my last video, and I just didn't post them because I got scared.
I'm glad you're sharing that because I'm sure other people can relate, and then they don't realize, oh, she just got it all figured out.
Yeah, no, I. So here's what I know, right? Is that I had an hypothesis, and people clearly see it too. So I have the validation that I'm not crazy. It's not just me, right? They see the same gap, need, whatever that I see, and people are identifying with the term. I feel like I have to change the term because small business creator isn't gonna fly, but whatever, this creator, right? So bam, proof that people are seeing the same thing, and proof that these type of creators are self-identifying themselves as this type of creator. Now what?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
But that's part of the journey.
That's part of the journey. Matt says, I travel so light now. I have a Pocket 3 X4 DJI wireless mic 2 with a Rode handle and a small rig cage and a battery brick. That's it. Let me tell you, I mean, I'm sure you saw what Tom had in his backpack for NAB.
Most people didn't have like 8 microphones in their bags.
It's crazy. I mean,
Matt was asking like, how heavy was that backpack? It actually wasn't bad, but it was not as lightweight as it could have been.
Well, the thing is, it's like you're standing and walking all day. You sit for 30 minutes to eat lunch, and then that's it. So that in itself is tiring. Plus, you have a backpack. Oh my God, it was a lot.
I was proud of myself for being a trooper.
As someone who sits most of the day, I was dead. Let's see. Julie Gayheart is here late to the live, but glad I can make it. Fellow filmmaker, it's like you have YouTubers who yell and YouTubers who whisper. One is for attention, the other is to be actually heard and make an impact.
I like that.
Oh, I like that. You're on this list, Heather, by the way.
You're on the list.
I asked Tom if we can make a video where we show who is on this list that we're talking about.
It's not even that the people have opted in. It's just like thinking of this. These are people I feel like fit the bill and why.
Yeah, that's going to be my next video.
Because maybe that would give people an idea of like, oh, that was a thing that because
I don't want it to be theoretical. I want it to be like, no, these people they're already doing their thing. Like,
yeah. And we just went through basically our subscription feed. Yeah. So it's just, that it's just our small corner of it. It's not like a comprehensive all of YouTube. But even that, the list got kind of long where I was like, it's a long list to cover.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Andre says, starting here, making videos, get the comments going, spread them out over time, build momentum, use the comments together until what people think.
I think exactly that. Andre also said, I want to see the list now.
The path ahead will start to form. I'm sure you'll see it before the next couple's table. We'll definitely do it in the next couple days. This venue is helping. I didn't know why I was feeling down about the trip until I saw Heather's video. Oh my gosh.
That is
see
a big insight.
And I think that was the thing was like, what? I cried at the airport. Mind you, I was tired, so I would have probably cried about a lot of things, but like I was so like sad about it. And it's nice that oftentimes like I'm just crazy, right? But it's nice that it wasn't just me. I kept saying, Tom, did you like you too, right? Because I trust you and I know
my
you're
impulse
safe.
Is that I left. I don't leave things. I will sit. Okay, during the pandemic, when we visit Heather's family for Christmas, her parents like to go to church.
Love to go to
so
church.
Typically,
they're very religious.
Typically, like the only time that we kind of end up in church is usually like Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, don't burst into flames as soon as we walk through the door. But during the pandemic, when there's no church or it didn't work out, mom and everybody's eating breakfast. Boom, giant TV, streaming mass that has production issues of what seemed to sort of be an SNL sketch at times. And
Tom,
don't take my eyes off the screen because I'm terrified. I feel like it would be so rude and disrespectful, despite like it's not my thing. The production quality is insane. Sometimes we watch ones from the wrong year, so it's like things. It's not the one. It's not the current one. And even Heather and her brother was like, "I'll go eat eggs, have conversation or whatever." And I'm just like, you have to, and if
being a good boy.
But that's not even live. Like in a situation where someone is,
Yeah.
I've been to bad stand-up comedy shows, bad music performances. I've
you've
sat through
watched
countless
high school freshman
student film projects that I had to say something positive about when it was horrible frame one to frame end. I've done all of that many times, and I can do that if I feel like a genuine attempt is being made and the person is putting a part of themselves into the thing, and I want them to know that I appreciate that, even if whatever they're making has issues or whatever.
Right.
I left in the middle of this because I felt like not only do I not care about what you're talking about, you guys are mostly not even aware that we're here. So like, that's the feeling I got. You don't do the thing where you're giving a talk and you're kind of like checking in, connecting with the audience, adapting what you're presenting to better suit your specific audience. It felt like, the thing we'd heard from someone else was it felt like watching a bunch of people with inside jokes. I was like, cool. Yeah. I have to go reorganize my camera bag because I actually care about that.
Yeah.
So that's when Heather says, was it just me? Was it just me? The fact that, and not only did I leave, I'm not bragging about this, but I spent like 10 minutes during the talk, like debating.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of a row. So leaving meant I had to like stand up with my big bulky camera bag full of microphones and excuse me.
It's like
and leave.
Anxiety. He doesn't want to inconvenience anybody.
I really didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be rude. I didn't want to inconvenience, but my soul, I think I might have died if I stayed because my soul would have just exited.
Well, the thing that you said was it made you feel bad about the thing that you do.
It made me feel really stupid for doing the thing that I do. It made me feel bad about my job. It made me feel dumb and stupid and irrelevant and foolish.
That's so sad. It's so freaking sad. I don't understand how they managed to do that in 40 minutes, and I really wish I tried to find a live stream. I tried to find like anything. So the flip side of this is actually this morning. I don't even know what I was looking for, but I tried one more time to find a replay. Like, was this thing recorded somewhere? And I found a video that was I guess there was a lot of programming on the buildup to NAB. So before NAB started, I don't know, I want to say like a few weeks before, there was already programming online. Like people were doing like webinars and like online conferences or whatever as part of the programming. It was called NAB Amplify, I believe. But I did find the state of the creator economy. They did it, I want to say, like 2 weeks before.
Was it the same speakers?
So Jim was the moderator, same moderator. And the speakers were all different. Tyler Cho was supposed to be there, but wasn't able to come. And then the rest of the speakers were different from the ones that were there at the event. But I will say that state of the creator economy, I should share the link, actually made sense, first of all, because the one that we saw just didn't even make sense. It was hard to follow. It was a lot of like name dropping of things that we're supposed to know, but it's like, if you're not in on the industry talk, then how would you know? But this, I could actually follow along, and he actually did the same format of the lightning round hot takes at the end, and everyone had something to say that made sense. And, at that point, it's not even that it has to be relevant, because I get that everything isn't going to be relevant to me. Like, this isn't a talk about me. If you're talking about the economy, if you're talking about the whole thing, right? So I get that. And just hearing what everyone had to say about the same lightning round hot takes that they talked about at the one in person, I was like, why was it so different? I don't, it's the same person with literally the same note cards, but for some reason live was not the same as the webinar version. I don't know. You know, I don't know if he was just just dead that day or whatever. But I actually felt like an excitement, a care that was missing, that was totally not there in person. So I don't know. So that's just to be fair, because I don't want to paint anybody as like this villain, right?
No,
like,
there's no villains. It was just like,
I mean, at the end of the day, though, the one that I did watch this morning still does not talk about us. Still does not talk about this group.
It's a better talk, but it's still for a different group.
It's still like, yeah, like there was a panelist who is like a management agency for influencers or content creators, and again, it's like, oh, you know, that content creator has the support where instead of asking you, how do I handle this sponsorship? You know, you have someone who has the background and the experience to like know how to navigate that stuff. So the creator is not thinking about that. The creator is just creating, right? And I think it would be awesome to provide the support to this creator who it's like, we're asking each other. You're texting like, did you hear from this company? Is this what the same thing that they, you know, offered you or whatever? That's what I'm trying to create something for. Anyway. The list. If you make the video, you totally should get a board and photos and red string, you know, useful visuals and all. I was hesitant because, you know, so for example, Heather, you are one of the people on this list, but I don't want people to get the impression that I am taking your name and putting it on this thing.
I think it's very clear.
I'm definitely
of
not
like,
doing that.
This is just what we think from the outside looking in on other people's channels, people who seem to fit this bill. It's a commentary.
Yes.
Yeah. And you could even invite people, like, if we're one of these people and you disagree, feel free to make that known.
Yeah. Making the list into the board, that would be amazing. If Heather and Tom just released the list, for sure I'm making a video about the board. Have a blessed weekend, everyone. This podcast has really inspired me to take more risks and letting a little bit more of me be seen in front of the camera.
Oh,
love your channel.
I love
awesome.
your push towards that.
Did you watch any of the NAB live stream? They were so bad they had 7 people watching.
I did not know that they had any.
They live streamed the whole time.
What was streamed?
I saw them when we were walking the NAB floor. It was like people going basically like booth to booth.
Oh.
And they were standing in front of like, today we're here and blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. I think, you know, they had a schedule and stuff.
I didn't see that.
Bad people exist, Tom.
It's true.
Well, anyway.
Sadly. Time
we
to clear
went
the table.
Way over. Sorry,
we didn't go way over. I'm so tired.
I know. Tom is falling asleep. I can see it. His eyes are glazing over.
I've had fun, but the body is... the spirit is willing. The body's tired.
Anyway, if you want to talk more about this, leave a comment. Reach out to me on Instagram. And stay tuned for the video with the list.
The board.
And the board.
Probably. I mean, I don't know if it'll be a board, but that'd be cool, though.
All right.
I was going to say I love you. This is where we need an AI to do it. Have a great weekend. Yeah.
Is this what Creator Now tried to accomplish? I don't know what Creator Now is.
They're for creators now.
Yeah, I don't know what. Maybe. I'm going to write this down and see what this is. A week. Creator Now. All right, let's end the stream.
Alrighty. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a safe, happy, healthy, fun rest of your week. A great weekend. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.